So, I want to welcome you to another deep dive. Today, we're looking at something that honestly affects every single person listening, but we're stripping away all the usual fantasy around it.
Yeah, no private jets or lottery tickets today.
Exactly. We are looking at a fascinating YouTube video by creator Josh K. Fay. It's titled, How to Become a Millionaire Way Sooner Than You Think.
Which is quite the hook.
It really is. And the mission for this deep dive is to look at the actual mechanical flow of your money. We're going to explore how pulling three specific levers can completely transform your trajectory.
Right, and we should define our terms right out of the gate.
Yeah, good point. So the baseline reality we are using from the source, their definition of a millionaire, is not someone living in a £1 million mansion driving sports cars.
No, I mean, it simply means having £1 million sitting securely in savings or invested assets.
Which honestly strips all the ego out of it.
It really does. It turns it into just, well, a math problem.
Speaking of the math problem, let's look at the stark reality the video presents.
Yeah, let's do it.
If you are starting from absolute zero today and you manage to save £1,000 a month at a 4% cash return, it takes 37 years to become a millionaire.
37 years.
Right. So if you are 30 today, that means hitting the goal at age 67.
Which is traditional retirement age. It's a long haul.
It is. Okay, let's unpack this, because the core premise of today's deep dive is that you don't have to wait that long.
You really don't.
There are three levers to pull to accelerate this timeline. You've got contributions, rate of return, and time. And today is all about hacking those levers to shave decades off that 37-year timeline.
And, I think it's important to frame this properly. Becoming a millionaire isn't about highly complicated finance.
Right.
It's really just back-of-a-napkin math
Yeah.
and understanding the mechanisms behind your money.
Which brings us perfectly to the first lever we can pull, which is contributions.
The most obvious one.
Right, because to shrink that 37-year timeline, the obvious step is just putting in more money.
Yeah, if you save £5,000 a month at that same 4%, the source notes, it cuts the time down to just 13 years.
13 years. But, let's be real for a second.
Yeah, who has $5,000 a month sitting around?
Exactly. Finding even £1,000 a month right now is incredibly difficult.
It really is.
You've got sticky inflation, the insane cost of living, and frankly, the highest tax burdens on income since World War II.
And that tax burden is the invisible friction dragging the whole system down.
Right. So how do we get around that?
Well, we have to look at the mechanics of how you actually get paid.
Yeah.
Let's say you're a higher rate taxpayer.
Okay, so broadly, someone earning over £52,000 in the UK.
Exactly. To get £1,000 net into your bank account, you don't just earn £1,000.
Because the government takes their cut.
Right. You actually have to earn roughly £1,600 gross. The government just intercepts the rest through income tax and national insurance.
So you're literally losing £600 just trying to get £1,000 to save.
Exactly. And what's fascinating here is a strategy called salary sacrifice.
Okay, break that down for us.
So instead of taking that £1,600 through standard payroll and letting the taxman slice off 40%, you just route that money directly into a workplace pension before it even gets taxed.
Wait, so the full $1,600 goes in?
The full $1,600. And from your perspective, it's the exact same £1,000 out of your pocket. Your take-home pay drops by the exact same amount.
Wow. So it's like a toll booth on a highway.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah, why sit in traffic and pay a heavy toll to the government every single day if there's a totally legal fast pass lane right next to it?
You'd take the fast pass lane every time.
And the math difference is huge. The video shows that £1,600 a month at that baseline 4% return gets you to £1 million in 28 years instead of 37.
You save 9 entire years just by changing the routing of the money.
9 years of your life.
Yeah.
But I do have to push back here on behalf of the listener.
Sure, go for it.
Because, wait, locking money away into a pension sounds great for retirement, but what if you want financial freedom at 40?
Right.
The source says you can't touch a pension until you're 57. Doesn't this strategy completely trap your money if you want to retire early?
It's a very valid pushback. Yes, those funds are locked until 57, and that age is moving up from 55.
So it's a real constraint.
It is. If early access is your grand plan, this specific route definitely has friction. You'd need other liquid accounts to bridge the gap.
Like an ISA or something.
Exactly. But for most people, salary sacrifice is a massively underutilized springboard. It solves the biggest hurdle to wealth building, which is that huge friction between what you earn and what actually lands in your accounts.
Okay, so that handles the contribution lever. We've bypassed the tax man and shaved off 9 years.
Right. But we can do better.
Because naturally, we need to talk about the second lever, which is the rate of return.
This is where things get really exponential.
Let me lay out the timeline improvements based on that £1,600 monthly contribution.
Go ahead.
So at a 4% return, we said 28 years.
Right.
But if you get a 6% return, it drops to 24 years.
Okay.
And at an 8% return, you hit it in just 21 years.
You literally cut the remaining journey almost in half compared to the start.
Right. But obviously, everyone wants the 8% instead of the 4%.
Of course they do.
But getting there involves taking on risk. And I think people misunderstand what risk actually means in this context.
They absolutely do. When we talk about risk, we don't mean your money goes to zero.
Right. It's not like walking into a casino and putting your life savings on red.
Exactly. In the investing world, risk actually means volatility.
Volatility. So the ups and downs.
Yeah. It means putting in £1 today and having to watch it temporarily drop to 50 pence tomorrow on a computer screen.
Which is terrifying for a lot of people.
It is.
Yeah.
But let's look at the spectrum. Cash in the bank yields maybe 3 or 4% because there is no capital risk.
Right. Physically, the number in the account cannot go down.
Exactly. But then you look at the stock market. Historically, it yields 8 to 10%, but it comes with incredibly high volatility.
And then you have bonds sitting somewhere in the middle.
Right. Paying more than cash over the long term, but avoiding those extreme, heart-stopping swings of the stock market.
It's like taking a boat ride.
Okay, I like this.
Cash is like a slow, flat barge. It's totally smooth, but it takes forever.
Right.
But the stock market is like a high-speed boat on really choppy waters.
Yeah.
You will get to the destination much, much faster, but you have to stomach getting a bit seasick along the way.
That is a perfect analogy. And with the math showing that an 8% return hits the goal in just 21 years, the temptation is to jump in that high-speed boat and crank up the risk as high as possible.
Just 100% stocks, pedal to the metal.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But that leads to the single biggest problem long-term investors face.
Which isn't the market itself.
No, it's not.
Oh.
The single greatest thing determining your investment success is not picking stocks. It's not timing the market, and it's not being clever.
So what is it?
It is entirely your ability to stay the course.
Staying the course. Here's where it gets really interesting because I see this all the time.
Yeah.
People reach for those really high returns. They take on way more risk than they can actually handle emotionally, and then they get spooked when the market inevitably wobbles.
And what do?
They do something totally disastrous, like they stop their monthly contributions, or worse, they panic and sell out at the absolute bottom.
Which turns a temporary paper loss into a permanent real loss. If we connect this to the bigger picture, there is absolutely nothing clever about taking huge risks if you just bail at the first sign of trouble.
It totally defeats the purpose.
It does. The true path is finding a level of risk you can actually live with over the long haul, even if it means trading away a few percentage points of return for a smoother ride.
Okay, but this all makes sense in theory. But how does a normal person actually build this perfectly balanced portfolio? We aren't Wall Street traders. Doesn't trying to mix stocks and bonds manually invite the exact emotional mistakes we're trying to avoid?
It absolutely does. And this raises an important question, which the source material answers brilliantly.
Oh.
Yes, the practical solution offered in the video is using multi-asset funds.
Multi-asset funds.
Exactly. Vanguard's life strategy range is the classic example used in the video.
Right, I've heard of those.
They are essentially wrapper funds that automate this entire blend. They package the stock market and bonds into one single fund.
So you don't have to manually rebalance anything.
You do literally nothing.
Huh.
The fund manager buys and sells internally to keep the ratio perfectly balanced.
That is huge.
Yeah.
Because if I had to log in during a market crash and manually sell my safe bonds to buy crashing stocks,
You wouldn't do it.
I really wouldn't. Human psychology just screams at you not to do that.
Exactly. And the video gives a great breakdown of the Vanguard Life Strategy range to show how you dial in that risk.
Yeah, let me pull up those numbers from the source because it's super helpful.
Go for it.
So they start with the LS20, which is 20% stocks.
Right, mostly safe bonds.
And the expectation there is a return of about 3 to 4%, with shallow drops of maybe 10% during bad times.
A very smooth ride.
Then you step up to the LS40, Expect maybe 4 to 5% returns, but you might see drops of about 15%.
Okay, a bit more chop.
Then the LS60, which is the classic 60-40 middle ground.
The balanced portfolio.
Right. Expect 5 to 6% returns, but the drops steepen to 20%.
So you're losing a fifth of your money on paper during a crash.
Exactly. Then the LS80 gets you 6 to 7% returns with drops around 25%.
Getting rocky now.
And finally, the LS100, 100% stocks. Expect 7 to 10% returns, but you must stomach massive drops of 30 to 50% on your money.
Half your wealth gone on a screen.
Yeah, which is terrifying. It's like ordering spicy food at a restaurant.
Oh, I love this analogy too.
You know, you've got mild, medium, or like burn your face off.
Right.
And the key is picking the exact level of heat you can actually stomach. Because if you order the hottest dish just to show off, you're going to end up sending it back halfway through the meal.
Exactly. The whole game is matching your personal tolerance to one of these blends.
So how do you actually figure out your tolerance?
Well, the source creator, Josh, has tools for this. He offers a risk profiling questionnaire.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it helps you find your realistic stay-the-course rate of return. So maybe you take the quiz and realize you're a 6% person.
Okay.
Then you just plug that 6% into his free Growth Forecaster app, and you can watch your exact Millionaire timeline appear.
So it takes all the guesswork out of it.
All of it. It
Oh.
automates the discipline.
So what does this all mean? Let's recap this whole journey.
It's quite a transformation.
It really is. We started with the default path, saving £1,000 a month at 4%, which takes 37 long years.
Right.
Then we optimized the contributions by using salary sacrifice to legally bypass the taxman.
Which turned that same out-of-pocket cost into £1,600 a month.
Exactly. 1,600 at 4% dropped the timeline to 28 years.
A massive jump.
And finally, we utilized a multi-asset fund to safely and automatically bump returns up to around 8%.
Which brings the whole journey down to just 21 years.
It's incredible.
And, for you listening right now, I think the biggest takeaway is that becoming a millionaire is not some fantasy reserved for lottery winners or tech billionaires.
No, it's just math.
It is a mathematical certainty born from pulling these three levers: contributions, returns, and time.
And having the discipline to let it run.
Exactly. Having the emotional discipline to just stay the course. And I should briefly mention, if finding that initial monthly money is still a huge struggle for you, the source creator does recommend checking out his 3-job rule video.
Right, to optimize every single pound you earn.
Yeah, it's all about increasing that baseline input so you can start pulling these levers.
Well, this has fundamentally changed how I view wealth building. But it leaves me with one final thought for you, the listener, to mull over on your own.
Oh, what's that?
We've learned today that tax friction and psychological friction are the biggest roadblocks to compounding wealth.
They absolutely are.
And avoiding these invisible frictions can literally buy you a decade of your life back financially.
A whole decade.
Right. So where else in your life are hidden frictions silently delaying your long-term goals without you even realizing it?
That's a deep question.
I mean, think about your career, your daily habits, or even your relationships. Are you taking the slow, difficult path simply because you haven't checked for a fast pass lane?
Sometimes we just accept the toll booth as normal.
Exactly. It's definitely something to think about. Until next time, thanks for taking the deep dive with us.